The following is a recovered transmission from the NebulaScript universe, the Intrusion Event, Part 1. If you enjoy atmospheric sci-fi stories, transmissions, and interactive worlds, follow the links below for more. Beginning archive playback.
The Intrusion Event? The NebulaScript universe sets the stage for a tense investigation at the edge of known space. The station, Halcyon Reach, violates protocol and has missed 3 consecutive check-ins. In the scenario stations and derelicts, you assume the role of a veteran, called in after a routine anomaly escalated into corrupted logs, missing time, and a silence no system can explain. Your task is not simply to uncover what happened, but to record it faithfully, even when events contradict sensor data, when records correct themselves, and when your own memory cannot be reconciled with what the recorder insists is true. Act 1. The First Signals. You were just 3 weeks off your last contract, just starting to enjoy the quiet, when the request came through, flagged urgent, and accepted by your console before you had time to question it. Registry contracts pre-authorize acceptance thresholds. You don't recall granting auto-approval for anything that skips your review. The assignment flagged the installation as Halcyon Reach, a quiet outpost at the edge of signal range. Someone was supposed to answer a routine check. They didn't. Nothing else looked wrong enough to justify a full escalation, which is why it landed with the registry. Registry work rarely comes with detailed instructions. Not this time either. The registry doesn't issue directives or explanations. It collects accounts, incident logs, sensor data, and testimony that refuses to reconcile with anything else. When a station fails in just the right way, the registry opens a contract. Contractors handle the rest. There are assignments for everything: survey audits, salvage confirmations, and loss verification. Some are routine, some are dangerous. Each one comes with a payout, and whoever accepts the job agrees to one condition: whatever you find gets recorded as is, even if it doesn't make sense. You've reviewed the previous reports. Minor anomalies, communications latency. Halcyon Reach was one of the early Outer Rim installations, anchored during the first expansion pushes. Officially, it was a research outpost, small crews, rotational staff, long-term observation projects that rarely made headlines. It sits far beyond established traffic lanes, deep enough that sometimes messages don't arrive the way they were sent. As an assignment, Halcyon Reach seemed to be low risk. It ran short rotations and reported minimal incidents, the kind of post people forgot about the moment they left it behind. Your approach is all instrument glow and hull vibration, the steady feedback you've trusted for years. Outside, external cameras catch the frost. Thick, uneven plates clinging to the station's skin, blooming along seams and exposed conduits. Your ship holds steady a few hundred meters out. Designed for solo operation, the vessel carries defensive systems only. Deterrents, signal dampers tuned for unstable environments. Nothing built to win a fight. Everything built to survive one. Registry operators don't exactly get hero ships. They get vessels meant to arrive quietly, await patiently, and still be there when the situation turns hostile without warning. The ship initiates a standard contact sequence. Hailing Halcyon Reach, automated registry inquiry, awaiting response. Static, no response, no attempted contact from the station either. You run another sensor sweep and transmit a second formal hail. The station returns no handshake, no auto-reply, no acknowledgement. The silence holds. You could disengage and escalate. The reply, if it comes, won't come quickly. You hold your distance and begin transmitting an escalation packet. Escalation packet transmitted. Registry flag attached. Halcyon Reach, non-responsive, awaiting oversight. You wait. Escalation acknowledged. The ship reports. Then, docking interface responding. Responding. You haven't initiated any approach. On the forward display, the docking array unfolds. Smooth, measured, confident. Green status lights illuminate in sequence. as if a crew is already in position, as if someone has been expecting you. You cancel the escalation and begin docking. You unstrap from your chair. The cabin feels smaller once you're upright. You check your gear, mag boots, seal check, glove locks, a practice sequence, no ceremony, no hesitation. You cycle the suit from passive to active and feel the subtle redistribution of weight as internal systems wake fully. Only then do you bring the recorder online. The recorder was integrated into all your equipment, from helmet to boots and everywhere in between. While you and the ship's systems remain within operational range, you maintain total remote control of the vessel. It timestamps everything twice, storing it locally and nowhere you can access. Later, it will be reconciled against other records of the same moments. You don't adjust the settings. You never do. Your helmet HUD wakes with a soft cascade of overlays, thin, pale lines that settle into place without asking for attention. Pressure, air quality, suit integrity. The center of your visor stays mostly clear, as if the system has learned not to compete with what you're already trying to see. The AI has been routed from the ship to the suit. A status banner flickers once, green, then collapses into familiar icons you recognize by shape rather than label. AI route, ship to suit. Link active. You leave the ship behind and step into the corridor leading to operations. The lights are dimmed, systems idle and standby. Gravity is present. Your boots land with a fraction of lag, like the deck lags half a beat behind you. Your HUD compensates. The horizon corrects, but still, the delay is just enough that you feel it in your knees. That lag doesn't go away after the second step. It persists just long enough to make you adjust your gait. Shorter strides, a little more bend in the knees. You press on, aware of how little you can afford to be wrong here. It won't mean losing face or even losing credits. The corridor ahead is dim, emergency strips pulsing in a slow, failing rhythm. Frost has crept inward along seams and conduit housings, feathering the edges of panels. Your movement is loud in the quiet. Boot tread, the soft click of gear, until you notice a second cadence underneath it. Footsteps, not yours. Somewhere ahead, a pace that starts, stops, then starts again, like someone testing whether they're being followed. And then, noise detonates. Without direction, a crosstalk of impacts and echoes slams in from everywhere at once, too loud to localize. Pressure surges, vanishes, surges again. For a heartbeat, you can't place gravity, can't tell which way is down, or whether you're standing where you were a moment before. Your thoughts skid, catch, then slide again. Nausea hits, suddenly, physically. Your stomach drops as if the station is lurched out of alignment. The pain and nausea pass just enough for you to stay upright. The corridor is still there. The lights are still pulsing. Your breathing sounds too loud in your helmet. What was that? No need to chase it. You can't determine the source of the sound from here. You head for operations, the most likely place to get answers. You keep your pace steady. Eyes forward, no sudden turns. The corridor opens ahead. For a heartbeat, something occupies the light at the operations threshold. Not moving, not crossing, just there. Then, it doesn't run or turn. It simply shifts sideways, sliding across the mouth of the corridor as if pulled along a track, and vanishes behind the frame. No sound. When you reach operations, the space is empty. No movement, no residual heat signature, no recent access logged. No sign anyone stood there at all. According to the notes from the previous investigation, the original team failed. They stopped agreeing with one another. Multiple operators describe the same 10-minute window. None of the accounts agree on sequence, cause, or result. One detail resurfaces now. In a report, an operator mentions a figure standing where it shouldn't have been. The report doesn't offer much more. No description, no follow-up questions, no attached footage. The note is brief, unexpanded. Later revisions reframe it as a stress response. Fatigue, cognitive drift, whatever you want to call it. The operator was eventually cleared and reassigned. The incident never appears again. You've seen the pattern before. Systems that function correctly while recording something else entirely. Missions that close without resolution, then quietly reappear months later under a different designation. Whatever the case, you're here to determine whether this station is malfunctioning or maybe correcting itself in a way that makes reliable records impossible. You reach Operations. Operations is a central hub, with 3 passages branching out at equal angles. Consoles line the curved walls, workstations, screens, no one present. Each passage leads deeper into a different section of the station. The lights overhead flicker in uneven pulses, casting the room in a dim, uncertain glow. A quick scan of the room reveals something half-wedged beneath a buckled wall panel near a workstation alcove. A damaged crew wearable, audio capture and environmental logging. You kneel, gloved fingers brushing away a dusting of ice crystals. The casing is split along one edge, its internal contacts exposed like teeth. A status light flickers weakly, still trying to complete its last cycle. When it activates, the playback stutters, then spills fragments. No images, just sound and numbers bleeding together. Personal log headers without bodies, timestamps that don't line up, sensor spikes without context. What comes through is intimate and useless at the same time. Can we ran it again? I swear it was only... Don't trust that... You've built entire reconstructions from partial recordings before. Panic, accident, cover-up. The familiar shapes line up too easily. Maybe this helps, but you don't need a narrative. You need proof. You pocket the recorder. As you straighten, your eye catches the nearest wall clock. It advances normally, 1 second at a time. Then, without hesitation, the display snaps backward exactly. 7 seconds. No flicker, no distortion, just correction. You make certain that happened. Your wrist display confirms it. Then the corridor status panel, different systems, different power routes. All of them agree on the same impossible adjustment. Your stomach tightens. Your balance feels briefly off, the sensation after a sudden stop or an unexpected drop. You steady yourself without thinking. Tell yourself it's adrenaline, poor footing, recycled air. You breathe through it. Blink, the station hasn't moved, yet the sensation remains. You keep moving through Operations without stopping, following the corridor toward the habitat ring. The route narrows, emergency lights casting a low, directional glow. You see something moving in the dim light ahead. You pause. The station's background hum swells in your ears. A flicker crosses your HUD, movement flagged ahead. No threat markers, no alert tones. Then the movement becomes a person. A woman steps up through the shadows, one hand braced against the wall like the station is the only thing keeping her upright. She looks early 30s. Her suit is scuffed and partially unsealed at the collar. A dark stain has dried along the fabric at her ribs. Frost clings to one sleeve, stiff enough that she favors the arm when she moves. She blocks the corridor to the habitat ring, swaying slightly. Her eyes flick to your suit markings, your gear, your hands, checking you against something she almost recognizes. That route's unstable, she says. Her voice doesn't match the torn suit. Flat, controlled. She's braced against the wall, one arm held tight to her side where the suit is torn and patched with sealant. Her helmet is off. Her eyes don't track your face, only your hands, like she's watching for a decision to be made without words. Your HUD attempts to register her vitals. The overlay flickers. Partial lock, then signal unstable. Retry. It drops the readout entirely.
Thank you for listening to the Intrusion Event, Part 1. Check the links below for more NebulaScript stories, games, and future transmissions. Join our Discord server for interactive scenario playthroughs, arena events, and additional archive content.